Hello friends, I want to congratulate all of you on the upcoming new year, and I would like us to talk for a few minutes. For me, as always, just like in previous years, it's very important to do this before you watch at midnight. Speeches, addresses, greetings from the President of Ukraine. I don't just want to congratulate you, I want to check our compasses together. In my opinion, 2022 and the current year, 2025, have been the two most difficult years for Ukraine in this war. I have only optimistic forecasts for next year, and I wish you the same. May you have as much optimism as possible. That was about a different country and nation, but I can project this onto us. Pessimism is a luxury we cannot afford, especially in the current situation. So what happened in 2025? I even jotted down some of the most significant events in my opinion. Maybe I missed something, of course, the Oval Office. 1-0. The horror that happened back then marked the beginning of the end for the current regime. Why am I telling you this now? I'll keep going so you can compare everything we're going to quickly discuss today. Event number 2 is the Cardboard Maidan. The attempt by Zelensky and Yermak to take full authority over the security service of Ukraine, or more precisely, to transfer this authority to the Prosecutor General's office of Ukraine, and the prosecutor's office is directly controlled by the President's office. They didn't manage to do it. We'll also discuss why they tried to do it. And you all can clearly see the Mindich case, the Mindich affair, Mindich Gate. In 2025, what I considered colossal corruption was exposed, but it's actually just a single case. Maybe, considering everything that's been happening, even this somehow managed to shock many people. Were you expecting something different? Even though it's mostly symbolic, Yermak's resignation doesn't matter since he's already irrelevant. Although, as I'm recording this greeting right now, there are rumors that the new head of the president's office will be a person close to Yermak, who oversaw the sanctions policy. Let's wait and see, but I can say Yermak has lost his former influence. How can we forget Zelensky's 1,000 hryvnias worth $24? The president of a country at war threw these scraps to the people from his lordly shoulder. And at the same time, increased taxes have already been announced, and even stricter ones are coming, especially for FOPs, with the introduction of a 20% value-added tax. A couple more points and we'll finish with the negativity and move on to the positive, as reported by the American press. When Rubio put the map of Ukraine on the table, handed a dark blue marker to Umarov and said, "Mark it for me. The red lines of your territory are the brightest red lines, the ones you absolutely refuse to cross, the ones on which the existence and functioning of your state depend." Naturally, Umarov didn't act independently. That's why the press writes that essentially Zelensky is ready to give up 20% of Ukraine's territory. Despite everything, I'm not going to judge him for that, because I actually welcome coming down to earth, facing reality, and stopping the nonsense of pumping people up with empty promises. And with these bad, terrible realities that we have today, we'll have to work in 2026. And then there's all this hysteria about the Russian language. The monument to Bulgakov musicality, the academy from which Tchaikovsky's name was removed, all this nightmare and horror that's happening will definitely come to an end, especially considering the peace plan that's been almost completely approved. Of course, I want to tell you Zelensky will record another one, which will be the 22nd, 23rd or 24th in a row. A heartbreaking congratulation, just a truly heartbreaking congratulation. He will talk about resilience, about how we are standing strong, and that we have made it through another difficult year together. But don't forget that this year they raised the salaries of the people's deputies of Ukraine to 200,000 hryvnias to 200,000 hryvnias. Their salaries were tripled. Those who brought the country to such a crisis, to such horror while you are being taxed, prices are skyrocketing, inflation is soaring, and this is the kind of horror happening in the country. So the ones responsible are being rewarded. People who are truly enduring all this with resilience. Everyone in the world is amazed at how people can withstand all of this. These blackouts, all of this, they are being punished. There will be a lot of interesting things in 2026. Homes of parliament members were searched recently. Yusik fled. All are linked to Zelensky. Believe me, so much information will be made public that even these very green hamsters will sit down and think about it. Now, going back to my predictions, last year I made a congratulatory message that was called something like, in 2025 Zelensky will leave. He won't be president. He really won't be president. We were just a few months short of ending the war. We were just a few months short of Zelensky stopping being the president of Ukraine, the president of Trump. This year, a slightly different tactic was chosen, removing power layer by layer. Even the blindest person will notice it, including Yermak and other events, as Zelensky's National Anti-Corruption Bureau of Ukraine steadily removes power layer by layer. By some miracle, he reached the end of 2025. They hope to last until nearly the 2026 United States midterm elections. They won't be able to do any of that. Starting from 2026, events will unfold even more intensely. Basically, I think you'll agree, intense events started around the middle of the fall of 2020 and the last quarter of 2025. Before that, the process was slow. Occasional issues arose, but nothing significant happened. So in 2026, things will remain as they are at the end of this year. And I can tell you once again with optimism, in 2026 the war will end. In 2026 there will be elections. God willing, Ukraine will have a new president in 2026. That's what I'll say. I hope we will get a chance for development. Military propaganda, military ideology must be driven into the gutter, into the cesspool, by you. I'm convinced Ukraine can be a super successful country. As I said, it's like a Ferrari running on 76-octane gasoline. President Trump and his team constantly put forward the message, the narrative that serious economic success is possible in Ukraine, that America is ready to invest money, and that American business is ready to come to Ukraine. Ukraine needs a president who understands the future isn't about militarism or fantasies. We'll reclaim Crimea and Donbass, seek revenge, do more, and then have our grandchildren fighting in 30 years? No, no one will be fighting in 30 years because in 10 years at most it will be robots fighting. I want to share that artificial intelligence will make a major leap in 2026, and when you see it with your own eyes, you'll realize that most of the problems propaganda has imposed on you, language barriers, all sorts of other things, all this nonsense, the entire news background they've been pushing on you, these problems don't actually exist. And right now, as you're watching this and I'm recording it, when will Zelensky speak? At this very moment in serious leading countries, work is being done on fantastic things. When these realities hit, it will be another cold shower for people. So wait, what have we been doing all these years? What have we been fed all these years? That's why we need to end the war as soon as possible. Obviously, the ending will be painful. And trying to jump to catch this last train that's leaving. With innovations, I'm not saying that we can discover something or that we can do something. It's about keeping up with this trend and integrating into the global economy, not being left behind. Only global economic integration guarantees security. Anything signed on paper can be ignored if someone chooses to, as you know. I don't want you to take this video as being overly politicized or just another speech. This is exactly a greeting for the upcoming year, 2026. I wish you peace, patience, the strength to endure all of this, take care of yourselves, and look to the future with optimism. And I strongly ask you not to associate the horrors that are happening now specifically with the country Ukraine. Don't be disappointed in the country Ukraine. Be disappointed in the people who have the authority and who led to this situation. Congratulations on the upcoming year, 2026. Let's look to the future with optimism. Denis.